Hi, this is Jamie Shanks at Sales for Life, and I want to help you redefine your account selection process. And what you're going to think about is using digital social proximity-based intelligence. So, of course, this particular summit is about AI, but also there's BI, business intelligence, and that's what I want to give you. Not everything can be driven through artificial intelligence and machine learning. It needs to be a combination of that intelligence intermixed with the social proximity business intelligence that I'm going to give you right now. So here's the challenge. The challenge, great study done by Topo. And Craig Rosenberg and the team found that 83.4% of sales professionals fail to hit a consistent sales quota because in large part to time management problems and challenges. What that really means is that your sellers are spending too much time on all of their accounts or too much time on particular accounts that aren't going to convert. You only have 164 hours in a week, and what you'll find for B and C players, the reason that they're not hitting sales quota attainment is they are spending far too much time with accounts that will not convert. And biggest challenge to this is because of the way that they select accounts. I see it every single day. You'll sit down with account executives and BDRs or SDRs, and that motion or that SLA between each other is the AE say, listen, we're focusing on this particular geography, or we're focusing on this particular vertical. Pull up a list of the top 25 manufacturers in the state of Ohio and start calling. The challenge with this is wallet share thinking. That means what you're doing is you're calling every account because it's large. Well, guess what? The biggest problem with this is so is everyone else. And the big problem is that the time to win the deal, the velocity, and the probability starts to lengthen. So you as a seller say, hey, I'm going after the big fish. I'm a whale hunter. The challenge here is if I'm the CFO of the company, I say, listen, we can't afford to go an extra quarter sales cycle or 2 quarters or 4 quarters. We can't afford to drop our probability of close from 33% to 25%. You're going to have to also balance the type of accounts that you select. Now, of course, using artificial intelligence for inbound information or inbound leads is fantastic. But now this is an outbound motion. Now, there are probably others on this group and panel at the summit that will speak about how you can use artificial intelligence for outbound. But I want you to think now in business intelligence. And the business intelligence that I want you to think around is to complement your wallet share thinking with what we call social proximity. Social proximity is really simple. You are going to think about reverse engineering the successes your company has already had and the ideal customer profiles you already have, and then identifying the people and the companies that are most likely to buy from you based on relationships. Okay? So now, and all the studies would show, if you looked at Sales Benchmark Index with Matt Shears is actually speaking at this particular summit, they've done studies where you're 4.2 times more likely to open up a door based on a referral than a cold outreach. Well, look at this statistic. The number one producer of lead flow and conversion is the one at the bottom, employee and customer referrals. So I'm going to use business intelligence around the social proximity of customers. But you're saying, oh, okay, well, that's great. I get it. That's the why. Show me how. Okay, I will. So here's what I'd like you to do. What I'd like you to do is take the last customer that you won 90 days ago. It's a successful project. I want you to slap their logo right in the center of this image where you see New Horizons Learning Centers. So I want you to picture what we do. We win a customer. So globally for the last 3 years, we've trained New Horizons Learning Centers franchising system, and we put their logo in the center. Now what I'm doing is identifying the social proximity, and it's a methodology we coined the sphere of influence. What I'd like you to do is to reverse engineer every person and every company that is within 1 degree of separation of this success story. So the first place I might start, look on the top right, past employees. I'm going to reverse engineer every advocate, every person that was involved in New Horizons as a VP of sales, VP of marketing, that would have had exposure to our training, but have moved on to accounts that are not customers of ours. These advocates, when they get there, want to bring in the people, the process, and technology that made them successful in the past. That's where I'm going to start. Number 2, on the left-hand side, competitors, vendors, partners. Of course, you start mentioning the story of New Horizons Learning Centers to Global Knowledge, you've got their attention. Same with their vendors and their partners. But then what about the social proximity of people? Remember, people buy from people. So you have Tynan Fisher, the Chief Operating Officer at New Horizons Learning Center's largest franchise in the Northeast. Tynan also has relationships. And if I were to reverse engineer his relationships, I could be introduced to other VPs of sales and marketing. So let's actually take this a little bit further. I'm going to show you a playbook at the end, but let's actually show you how I would use this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on the top of my screen, I am going to look into Sales Navigator. And I'm going to use Navigator because it's easy. Of course, you can do many of these functions in free LinkedIn, but the concept here from business intelligence is think about the process, not the platform. Be process-centric, not platform-centric. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take our own successes, and I'm going to look at people that no longer work there anymore. So let's go Intel. Let's go Microsoft. So I'm taking customers of ours, Oracle, and what I'm going to do, CA Technologies. Okay, so we have 4 large technology companies that we train globally. 600,000 people no longer work there anymore. But what if I were to focus in on, let's say, the United States, because I'm a geo-based seller, I've been given the function of sales and the seniority level. It makes sense to only go after vice presidents or CXOs, and the years at the company, less than 1. So people that are brand new to their role. Okay, so I want you to think about what I've just done right now. I have taken people that no longer work at our customer base, but live in the United States, and I can refine that further, that are VPs or CXOs of sales, and they've been in their new role for less than 1 year. I hit search, and I start identifying people that are all new in their role, that all used to work at our customers. This is one of my starting positions for where I'm going to start the conversation. Okay, now what I'm able to do is save these particular searches, and look what we've done here. I've saved them by the year that we sign the customers. So every time that we win new customers, I'm using our own advocates as business intelligence to fuel new growth. Okay, now how else would I use that? So remember that if we came back to our slide, that's past employees. What about the social relationships or social proximity of people? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drop into Jill Rowley as a real life example. Now Jill's a partner of our firm. But let's pretend, and this is how we met Jill. She was a leader at Oracle. Okay, so she had brought us in to build the global curriculum for Oracle 23,000 sellers. So now you have successes with Jill. What I'd like you to do, and this is if I'm in business development, whether I'm an AE, an SDR, BDR, first thing that I do is I partner with somebody in customer success. Because customer success is most likely connected to your customers. And we're going to drop into the social connections of our customers. And now what I'm going to do is recognize that Jill has, and it turns out Jill has thousands and thousands of first degree connections. So I don't even know where to start. If I were to begin reverse engineering her relationships based on sales VPs, it'd come up with 1,000 people. I really wouldn't know where to focus. But every person has their own social proximity. And on the company tab here, this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to select as an example where she works today, Marketo. But then what it does is it stack ranks based on all of her network. It stack ranks the relationships. And so what you see here is Oracle and Salesforce and Adobe. Well, if Jill were in the room, you would know why she's highly connected there, used to work at Oracle, used to work at Salesforce, has a lot of past colleagues and relationships at Adobe. So where I would start, if I was looking for accounts that Jill could help me penetrate, I would have her focus a referral or use her name as a referral in Oracle, Salesforce, and Adobe, because those are most likely The accounts would recognize if I had successes with Jill, they could interrelate those successes with themselves. So now let's put this into a playbook. So this is our framework, account selection, sphere of influence. First thing that I'd like you to do, and if I'm a VP of sales, or if I'm a frontline sales manager, this is what I do in my one-on-ones. I call a sales professional into my office, and I'd say, okay, show me the top 5 accounts you're working on right now. And what I'd like you to do is justify to me, using kind of Chris Voss's negotiating techniques, what and how, right? I want to know, what are you focused on and how are you focused on them? But specifically, tell me why you've chosen this particular account. And so using the sphere of influence, what you do is you take a customer success story and place it in the center here. And then you build a framework. Number 1, who used to work there? Who are past advocates, vice presidents of IT, you sell into human resources. What human resources leaders have left your customer base and moved on to new accounts? And you can have automatic job change triggers for yourself. What competitors, partners, and vendors have also done this? What competitors, partners, and vendors are connected to your customer? And then finally, take the social relationships of key internal stakeholders at your customer base, stakeholder 1, 2, and 3, and reverse engineer their social network for the companies that they can help introduce you to. So start building a list of accounts. This is like a spiderweb system. If I'm going to use intelligence, business intelligence, whether I am a account-based sales developer structured in a framework of specific geographic area or specific vertical or territory, I am still going to use our own successes as a framework for helping me select accounts that can do 2 things. It can shorten the velocity and time to get into the account, and it can increase the probability that I have account activation. That is my goal. And ultimately, these are examples. The sphere of influence I mentioned and did a lot of work on in the book Social Selling Mastery. Highly recommend you check it out. We are launching other books, the world's first definitive book on account-based sales development, specifically for the modern digital seller. But I hope that this really helped you with business intelligence intermixed with what you're going to learn in artificial intelligence.